How's it going?
Good, good, good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. It's been a long time.
I know it's been crazy. It's been a wild ride.
So you do kind of remember me. I think I've came into your restaurant a few times. We had some sit down conversations, really good ones. Learned a lot from you.
Same here.
How's everything been going with you?
Everything is good. Our business has since then taken off. We since I last talked to you, sales have almost doubled. Um, and we, because of it, we opened our second location, and things were going well. And then this thing happened.
No, I completely understand it. And just to kind of start this off, um, you are our first guest on this episode that we're doing. It is with collaboration with Kabob Korner. I am Shoaib Bawan, of course, with Voodoo Productions, and this is in collaboration with Kabob Corner. And our whole goal here is to really build strong relationships with other businesses in the Houston area and kind of share a little bit of the same information, of the same pain, and see what we can do to kind of build each other up, help promote each other. So everybody, this is Mr. George. I've known him for quite some time. I think I dropped into his restaurant, Knock Knock, to kind of see how he's doing. And Mr. George, if you remember, I think that's when you were kind of playing around with the idea of actually going halal
That's
um,
correct.
at that point. Uh,
Yes,
and you went ahead and did it. And I think following around and asking people, it's became a huge hit.
that is correct. Our sales really took off. The moment we did that, one thing we learned about the industry is, it's a very diverse market. So as a business owner, the one thing you need to do is really listen to your customers. They're the ones going to be your biggest teachers. So, we listened, and, once we expanded into, uh, being able to help every walk of life come on into our restaurant, our sales, grew steadily because of it.
100%, 100%. I think I kind of caught that early on with you. I think we are a marketing company, as you know, and I kind of noticed you have that marketing intelligence yourself. And it was just an interesting conversation because I think we weren't just talking about the uniqueness of your restaurant and the food that you offer, but also just kind of the marketing world. And you had such great insight on it too, which was really impressive. So, I mean, I think, before we kind of dive on to some of the questions, I kind of want to ask you, what does marketing mean to you? And I know you have your own strategies behind it and it's worked out great. So how has that kind of helped you really push off and strive in the community?
Well, having a strong background in marketing, the one thing your customer. Sometimes we open our doors and we assume that because we have a very good product, it's going to be packed overnight, and that sometimes that's not the case. We're basically leaving everything in the hands of our customers, and sometimes that's a good thing. But word of mouth spreads at a certain pace, so we need to do accelerate that. So companies like yourself can definitely highlight a lot of the product, the quality of the brand, and what's in it for the customer. So at the end of the day, customers eat at our restaurants as an experience, whether it's a certain flavor they're looking for, a certain value. So I think my advice to every restaurant owner is you need to identify yourself. What makes you unique? And once you know what makes you unique, stand out, then go after it. And companies like yourself, like we talked about, can highlight those things and really punch into that point for the customer, for the consumer, whether it's making a very thick, juicy burger. I'll never forget some of the ads that you had. Even to this day, I still remember them because that's the delivery, the message. So I know that that's important. So, it really comes down to figuring out what's your niche and really going after it.
What's funny is I had thought about reaching out to you, and in the midst of reaching out to you, I noticed that another one of our famous halal food bloggers, Zain Halal Reviewer, had a chance to do a similar meeting with you yesterday, and
Yes.
it was just like, okay, this is like a coincidence, and he's such a important factor in the community as well, and I think he tackled on some great questions. So I'm gonna say the importance of what halal is and how you're easily able to mix it into what you already had created, and it's just a great blend, and everyone's loving it, fascinated by it. But I do want you, for whoever does not know, what kind of restaurant are you? What makes you a little bit different? Why are you so unique? Just kind of those highlights that you were speaking about.
Well, we're Peruvian style rotisserie chicken. Obviously, there's many restaurants that do sell chicken all over Houston. The difference between us is that our chicken kind of spins around a huge oven. These are custom built ovens that we exported from Peru, or imported, I should say. And the difference is we don't use gas, we don't use electricity, we use straight charcoal. So you get that smoky flavor, and that's really what one of the things that sets us apart. Another thing that kind of sets us apart as a restaurant is the fact that we don't do anything frozen. It's everything so natural, so you can taste the freshness in our products. And we marinate our chicken with 14 different spices, and it's just that blend. And people are always trying to decipher what's in it. But I tell them, I said, 14 out of 12 out of those 14 spices you can buy at Kroger or HEB. It's just the blend and the mixture of things, and that what sets us apart.
Of course, that everyone is suffering through is this epidemic that we're all facing at the moment
Right.
collectively. And it's forcing a lot of restaurant operations to kind of change the way to do things. So, as everyone that has to follow this, what has really impacted you, and kind of your take on that?
Well, sales have gone down quite a bit here, just like most restaurants. I think the only ones that really weren't impacted were the ones who specialized in either drive-through or delivery, like pizzerias and things like that. Um, but sales went down. Thankfully, the last 2 to 3 weeks, or the last 2 weeks, sales have steadily been going up, and I think the success that we're starting to see and have here is we've had to reinvent ourselves. So, we turned our lobby into more of a mini grocery store where we actually sell, different things like soft drinks, water, beans, rice, and generally almost everything we're selling is at cost. And, as a restaurateur, you can definitely get good prices, such as rice. I mean,
Why
you'll see.
are you doing that, Mr. George? Sorry to cut you off. Why are you doing it at cost? What's your
That's a great thing. So most people that are going to come in are going to see that. And remember, you're planting seeds. They're going to be like, wow, this is a great price. And it's just like we talked about the cookie and the chicken, how it spins. What your goal as a restaurant business is to make an impact in the minds and hearts of your guests. So when customers come in and they see a bag of rice for $3, and it's a huge bag of rice, and they can buy the same thing at Target, for example, for $5, they're like, wow, this location is giving me a better deal. So you're going to get two things out of that. One, the customer's never going to forget you about that because you're taking care of their family. And two, and that's your customer who is value driven. And two, you're giving the other customer a convenience factor. And three, which is the bonus, you're going to have more foot traffic. You're going to have more turn and more word of mouth. As time goes by, if you can undercut your competition, which is the grocery stores, guess what you're going to have in your store? Foot traffic. And that's, at the end of the day, the game changer.
And the reason I'm smiling is because I feel like you're such a mastermind behind just really understanding your clientele. And I think that's what's so fascinating and important about just this restaurant business. And that's why I always have a pleasure speaking with you, because I think, it's just kind of like, I'm just like, man, you really have a passion behind this, and the food shows it, your customer service shows it, and the way that you study your customer shows it. So I think we all do appreciate that, Mr. George. And I know this is going to be the last question. And this is just something personal that you want to say to any of the audience that's going to view this video. Whether it's, you already mentioned about some of the steps that you're taking to change up a little bit of the process, walk-in, foot traffic, but any other deals or specials, or maybe just a personal message or what are you guys doing for the proper care and sanitization of customers walking in? So what's just give me a message or whatever it is that you want to the audience.
Okay, well, I mean, to really send another message to your customers, one thing we're doing is, like most restaurants, we are taking the extra steps of sanitizing our doors. Any high traffic areas, we're sanitizing them probably every hour or every other hour, depending on the location. The second thing we're also doing is if you really want to hit home, is you want to reach out to local charities as well to really deliver. We just partner with Feed the Front Line. So if you follow them on Instagram, you'll see that we're really gun ho and helping out, because at the end of the day, you want to do it right way. And they're really good about helping small businesses. So I encourage anyone that has a small business that's looking to help out those guys to really do so. In terms of sanitation, again, take care of your staff as well. Encourage them to, reach out to you. Let them not be afraid if they show any symptoms. Obviously, gloves, hair nets and masks, especially if they're preparing your food, are very essential. Show your staff that you're genuinely concerned about them, and it's going to translate into them concerning about their customers as well. So that's really what we're doing, and again, value driven meals. We have a to go lunchbox for $3.99 right now for our customers. We want to show that we're in this together, and by doing that, we keep the doors open, the lights on, and pay our staff. We might not make a lot of profit, but at least it allows us to have continuation on our business. Of course, but I have everybody employed. The only difference is, full timers are working 30 hours a week. Part timers are maybe working 10 hours a week as opposed to 20, 25 hours. But they all know that we're in this together, and as business is growing, I'm increasing their hours again. And that's what we're doing, selling groceries below cost, and showing that extra value for meals. It's going to generate a lot. And remember, the biggest message I can give everybody is right now is an opportunity for you to plant seeds. The more seeds you plant now, when all of this thing goes away, the bigger your business is going to be down the road. People don't forget when you take care of them during a moment of crisis.
I can't agree with you any more than that, and that kind of really does sum it up. But this was such a powerful first session that we had, and can't thank you enough for being the first one on our episode, and I'm glad I got you on board as our first person that we're interviewing, because I know I would have got some great insight out of you. And not only are you helping out the community, but I think with your advice, you're also helping out other restaurants. I'm trying to do the same thing, and that's what it's all about, is community building and just building relationships. So I do appreciate your time so much, and we'll keep in touch. And just to everybody else, thank you for joining in with Mr. George. Please go and support his business, and we hope you guys had a great first session with Kabob Korner supports, Booty Production supports, support local. And once again, from Kabob Korner, if anybody is in need, their doors are always open. You can come in, just ask for food, and you'll be taken care of. I think Kabob Korner really wants to let everybody know that they're there from every step of the way. So, Mr. George, I can't thank you enough, and I have a blessed rest of the week, and hopefully things get back to normal soon. I'll come visit you soon.
Thank you so much.